So why would you want to consider online tutoring with You Do the Maths? Well, for starters, it's very convenient. Students get to stay at home and sit in an environment that is familiar and safe. Parents can also supervise or monitor the session at any time if they wish. Costs are also reduced and time is saved by cutting out the time required for the student and tutor to meet. Another positive is the flexibility of timing. By having online tutoring, you're able to have your session at 7:30, 8 o'clock or 8:30 at night at a time that suits you when the family is all home. So how does it all work? Well, in the first instance, if you're interested, you can contact us at You Do the Maths by email or phone. Once you've done that, we can organise an online conversation showing you the method that we use for online tutoring. This will be a brief discussion, up to about 10 minutes, no cost involved, and you can see how it works and if you're happy with the process. Once that's done, we can make a booking. Sessions usually last up to 60 minutes, but we're quite flexible and we can organise a session and time that suits you. Let's have a look at an example of how online tutoring might work. To make the online tutoring session work, what we do is we organise for a Skype connection. That's basically how we talk to each other. We can also view each other if we wish to, but what we've got in front of us is an online whiteboard, and that's what we're looking at right now. So we have an online whiteboard connection where we can do any of our writing. Now I'm doing this from a tablet, but there's no need for a student to have a tablet. What I do ask for them to do is have some paper in front of them so that as we go through the process they're writing it down and making sure that they understand each step. And to validate that, what I'll do is ask questions and certainly encourage questions from the student to check the process. Part of that is for me to ask the student how to do a particular problem so I can gauge their understanding and make sure that each step is clear in their mind. Sometimes that might mean going back a step or two. So for example, what we might do is be asked to solve a linear equation. Perhaps we're being asked to solve something like 2x plus 7 equals 19. So to help with the online learning, what we'll do is make sure that the work is well spread out on the whiteboard. I might use different pens to illustrate aspects. So for example, here we can see that the x is multiplied by 2 and we've got an addition of 7 there at the end as well. So what we can see is relative to the x, we're multiplying by 2 and we're adding 7. I then might ask a student, what steps do we do to solve the problem? If it's apparent to me that it's not clear, then we need to go through in a bit more detail, but hopefully at this stage the student might identify by saying that we do the operations in reverse and do the opposite operations as we go. So for example, what we can see here is that we've got 2x plus 7, we'll write that down again, and we'll write the 19. But the reverse operation of adding 7 is to subtract 7. So I'll put that in a different colour to make it clear. So subtract 7 on both sides. And then what we end up with is 2x because the 7's are removed. And we get 19 minus 7 is 12. We can then see from our list of operations to the side that the opposite of multiplying by 2 is to divide by 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And in this case what we end up with is x equals 6. So in this situation here we might repeat a problem, but this time I'd ask the student to explain the steps to me, or I might give them an opportunity to work it through themselves depending on where they're at in terms of their understanding of this particular question. Or I might decide that it needs to be something a little bit harder. So we might go through and solve something like 5 minus 3x is equal to negative 4. So incorporate some negative values. So that's the basic process to the online tutoring in terms of how it's presented. There's also an opportunity prior to each session for us to exchange possible textbook pages or also scan documents so that they can be put on the screen, and it's much easier therefore for the student to follow the process by underlining key words. Ideally with this type of tutoring, it would be good to have a demonstration beforehand so that you're comfortable with this approach and you know it's something that's suitable for you. By all means contact us at You Do the Maths and we can go through a short demonstration, no more than 5 to 10 minutes, so that you get a feel for whether or not this is an appropriate method for you to improve your mathematics.